everyone, it's Mary, and today I'm going to be talking about the books that I will read this spring, more or less. At first I thought I was going to do an April TBR, but you know, we're already kind of 8 days into April, and I also feel like I have a lot of books that I want to read that I'm not going to finish in April. So let's just say that these books are my kind of top priority right now. I might change my mind going along and not read all of the books and maybe read some other books that I will not mention today, but for now these are the books that I'm most eager to get to in the near future. Firstly, I have a book that I'm currently reading, and it is The Last Quarter of the Moon by Zijian. And this was the pick for, I don't remember which month, but for the Tales & Co. book club, and it's a book by a Chinese author, and it talks about this woman, this elderly woman. She's in her 90s, and she talks about her life living in this Chinese tribe of reindeer herders back in the days, you know, before the Second World War, and then it goes along, and now we're in the 60s. I'm almost done with it, and I think I'm just going to finish it today since it's a Sunday and I don't have any plans. So I probably will finish this book. It's quite an interesting one. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's nonetheless interesting, and I'm curious to know how it ends, basically. But I will talk about this in my wrap-up. And yes, this one. Then I started reading a book that I did not haul yet, because I kind of bought it on a whim, and it is Delusions of Gender by Cordelia. It says the real science behind sex differences. So I've seen this book around before, and as I was, you know, browsing for books on gender, I found it and kind of decided to pick it up, especially since knowing that I am expecting a boy. So for those of you who don't know, I am pregnant, and I just discovered that I'm having a boy. And what I find kind of funny is that I never in my life thought I would have a boy, which is stupid, because of course you can have, you know, a boy or a girl. It's not like I was meant to be having a girl, but I have been surrounded for my entire life by girls, and my main role models have always been girls. And like, my mother is one of the most important people in my life. I have a sister, and all my female friends had sisters as well. I have female cousins, no male cousins. So it's weird, but when they told me it's a boy, I was like, what, a boy? It's, you know, I've always thought about myself with kids, but in my mind I realized it was always girls, which is weird. But anyway, I don't feel like it's more or less challenging. I just feel like it's an entire different challenge, even though having a child is of course a challenge of its own, and you never know what to expect, basically, even if you know the gender, of course. But you know, having said that, kind of a bit of a tangent here, I had decided to pick something also for that reason, because I'm really interested in raising this boy in a right way, as I would say, or what I perceive as the right way. But anyway, the author in this book challenges what science, or what some branches of science stated about the brain, the human brain, and how it is wired differently. Like, there are differences between a male brain and a female brain, and she challenges this statement with this book, with experiments and studies, and she did a lot of research, which I really appreciate. There are a lot of footnotes in this, so yes, it's basically against this whole idea that we have different brains, and how society plays a huge part in deciding how we are, what we like, how we behave, you know, taking in mind that we live in a gender-biased society. And I just started this book, but it's already really interesting, and I've already, you know, a lot of thoughts about this. I hope I can finish this one pretty soon so that I can talk about it. Then we have the 2 picks for the 2 book clubs that I'm in for April. So this time I'm kind of on track. at least with the reads that we're doing in April, and possibly I will be able to participate in the conversation as well, which is something that I did not do for the past months. And I would love to enjoy, a bit of conversation about the books that I'm reading in these book clubs, because that's the entire purpose of a book club, to discuss with other people. Yes, moving on, we have The Hidden Light of Objects by Al-Nakib. And this is a short story collection set in Kuwait, and I never read anything from Kuwait, so again, I'm very eager to get to this one. It seems quite a short, easy book to go through. It talks really about everything, so war, religion, teenage love, marriage. So yes, looking forward to getting to this one. And then we have the pick for the Tales & Co. book club. Of course, I'm going to leave links to the book clubs and the awesome people that run these book clubs down below. I feel like I'm always repeating myself, but anyway, I have the Birds and Other Stories by Daphne du Maurier. Again, as I said in my haul, I really am eager to get to her writing style. Never read anything by du Maurier, and I feel like now is the time, even though I feel like these kind of stories are a bit gloomy to be going into in springtime, but I don't care. I just can't wait to read something by her. So I will start with her short story collection. Then we have a book that I requested on NetGalley, which is Princesses Behaving Badly by Rodríguez McRobbie. And I've seen this book back in November, I think. I don't remember on which channel, but I just thought it seemed amazing. Well, hello. This is me several hours later, because as I was rushing to finish my video, because I had to leave the house, I realized when I had finished the video that my memory card was full. So yes, it basically didn't record half of the video. So here I am. I was talking about Princesses Behaving Badly. It's kind of a short story collection, but it's non-fiction, and it talks about princesses in the past. Princesses that really existed, that were not your standard Disney princess. So they actually were very mean or aggressive or just ruthless, and this is a collection of these stories. So I'm really curious to check this one out. I've heard that it was very, very good, and I definitely hope I'm going to enjoy it. Then we have a book that I purchased that is about parenting, and so I've always been very much interested in education, and now that I'm having a baby, I really am even more interested in parenting and in education. But it was actually pretty hard to find one that would suit me, and I'm not even sure that this one will do for me. But I honestly have no idea where to look for books of this kind of genre, and because I don't have any references, about people that have read some of these books that have found them useful or interesting, and they could, get on board with what they said. So the book that I purchased was kind of a random pick, and the name is The Newbie's Guide to Positive Parenting by Eanes. I've actually stumbled on this book on YouTube. It was not even a booktube channel. It was this woman that had 3 children already that was, talking about parenting, and I thought, well, I could agree with what you're saying more or less. I don't know you, but it seems like the type of book that I would like. There are so many books out there, and I'm still not sure that this one would do for me. But I mean, I don't feel like you need a guide to be a parent. Sometimes I think it just is enough with your common sense and your love. But of course, it's useful to have, some kind of guideline from someone who had experience, and that's why I hope to find some more of these books. So please, if you have experience with this kind of books, if you read any of books about parenting that are worth spending your time with, then please tell me in the comments down below, because I really am interested in this kind of topic. So yes, this one. And then I thought that I did not have a lot of novels in this kind of selection that I chose for spring. So because I have short story collections, a lot of non-fiction, so I thought let's let's just throw some novels into it. And the first novel that I want to get to is actually a book that was, again, for the Read Around the World book club, and this was the pick for March, but I didn't end up getting to it, so I still am interested in checking it out. And, you know, getting into it in April, I think it still counts, more or less. But the book is Claire of the Sea Light by Edwige Danticat, and this is the pick for Haiti. And it just talks about a girl that runs away or just goes missing, and then it really talks about her research. So I don't want to know more about this. Hopefully I will enjoy this one. I heard from people that already got to it that it's quite a good book, and it's also a short one, so yes. And then I picked randomly from my TBR of the books that I own, because lately I've been purchasing quite a lot of books, ignoring the ones that I already own, which are quite a lot now. So I just thought I'd pick randomly through, you know, browsing through my Goodreads section of books that I already own. And what came up was We Need to Talk About Kevin by Lionel Shriver. And I'm actually pretty interested to get into this book because I've already seen the movie quite a long time ago now. I really enjoyed the movie, and again, this is a book about parenting. Well, more or less. It's a book that talks about a relationship between a mother and a son, and how she really doesn't know her son enough because some kind of tragedy occurs, which I'm not going to talk about, even though it's in the blurb, because I think it's a spoiler. I mean, at least from watching the movie, you really are not aware of what happens later on. You're just aware that something bad happened, and you can sense it in every scene. You know that something went wrong, and you kind of work throughout the whole story to know what went wrong and possibly why. So I don't know if the book follows the same structure as the movie, which I thought was very well done. It talks about this relationship, and it's kind of not, it's not a very positive book, but I feel like it's a very important one and also relevant to our time period. So yes, I've been waiting to get to Lionel Shriver for a while. I heard nothing but praise about her and about her books. So hopefully I will enjoy this one and then dive into more of her works. This is it for now. Hopefully you have enjoyed this video, even though it's been a bit weird since I had to film half of it afterwards. Hopefully you won't notice that much. So let me know if you read any of the books that I mentioned, and if you have any other recommendations. As usual, you can leave them in the comments down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!